Now that we've created our surface, it's well defined, let's go ahead and add some labels to our surface. So we're going to open up our surface labeling exercise file. And anytime we're working with an object in Civil 3D, we learned early on, it's really easy just to pick the object that we want to work with, and then using the contextual ribbon, we can do certain activities, such as add labels. Now we can select what type of label we want, or we can just choose the Add Surface Labels, which opens up a floating dialog box and gives us some control, such as we can see what the default style that's applied to that label type. We can change different label types. We can add quickly on the fly. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some flow arrows. Click Add. We're going to do 1 point. And notice we can set these arrows. Let's do this a little bit differently. Let's add a percentage slope type. Now, the key with a slope label, when I choose Add, it asks me what kind of slope label, a 1 point or a 2 point. A 1 point label simply requires us to pick a point. Anywhere in that surface, we're sitting somewhere on a triangle face. If we're sitting on a triangle face, what we're doing is we're getting the slope of that face. It's a great way to check how accurate our surface is. So I pick these and add them in. And these are dynamic. They're related to the surface, so I can move them and they immediately adjust. And again, they're going to change based on that triangle and the location where it sits on the triangle face. Now, if we choose slope label and choose the 2 point selection, all we're doing is we're manually doing an interpolation. We pick our first point, we pick our second point, it gets the distance between the 2 points, and then creates a label. Additionally, we have spot elevation labels. Now, when we talked about points, we mentioned anytime we're working with items that identify a coordinate, we're always going to be dealing with two styles. We saw that with points themselves, point style and point label style. Spot elevation marks a coordinate, and therefore we have our label and then the marker style itself. So we'll go ahead and click Add. It identifies or asks us to locate the point, so we're just going to pick an endpoint here, and maybe an endpoint here, and there we've placed our elevation labels. And just like other labels, if we put them or drag them, they'll go into a drag state, kick in a little leader, depending on how the style is created, and presents a little bit control of our labels and their visibility. Additionally, these are dynamic, so if we move them, you see they're automatically trying to identify the elevation of the surface. The most used surface labels, though, probably are the contour labels. So we're going to choose Contour Multiple. You can have a different style for your major, your minor, and even your user contours, which we'll talk about later. We're going to use the same style for all and choose Add. Because these labels are dynamic, what we're really creating is a surface contour label group. All we're going to be doing is drawing a line or polyline segments that when these segments cross a contour, a label shows up. So we're going to just go pick it from this point to this point, press Enter, and you see the contour labels show up. Now, when I select this object, you see that it's not the contour label that I get, but the segment that's associated and creating those contours. If I go to the properties of those contour labels, you'll see it's a label group. Now, this is an object in the drawing, so much so that if I go to the Home ribbon, Modify Panel, and choose AutoCAD Copy, I can copy that label group and take these lines anywhere I'd like to go. I can change the location of these lines, stretch them out, and you can even change certain parameters of these lines. So these label groups are very powerful in the sense that we can not just create one label for one contour, we're creating multiple labels for multiple contours simply by the location of our contour label group. We can even set whether or not The styles are the same here. We can change the styles in our property. And this is a very powerful one. We can even choose not to display labels for minor contours, major contours, and so forth. So maybe we just want to label our major contours in a certain area. We can do so with our label group. So a lot of control using label groups. And the reason why we only looked at the surface multiple contour labeling is because if you chose contour single, you're actually creating a very small line segment. So you're still getting the same results. The end result is always going to be the same. You're going to have a surface label group that's connected with a very short or long segment, and you can drag that segment, create grips, and make it longer, shorter, whatever you need to label the appropriate contours in the drawing. So we looked at the 3 different types of surface labels: spot, slope, contour.